Pete, when you make some of the moves that you guys made, putting some of your star players on IR, do you think any of that gets into the head of players where
they were aware of it? They're aware of it, and they missed their guys. Shoot, Max is pretty good, and he carries a lot of weight, and Brock, same, Chin, same, all those guys were hurt. They were hurt. And I know the stories go otherwise, but they were hurt, and so unfortunate. But they knew.
But in terms of not effort so much, but that percentage point of a percentage point when you're a little bit checked out, that kind of a performance can happen.
No, I don't think it has. That is the issue. I think the issue is those guys weren't playing, and then we go down a level, And Mike Mayer had a great game for us today. I mean, just a great game in filling in for Brock. And I can't say anybody on defense, picked it up. It was obvious, in terms of filling in for Max. But we tried, and we did all that we could to try to get a good game out of us. And the unfortunate part is when you get the kickoff return, it's like, okay, and that's all three phases. Have an axe to grind and all that. In a sense, I don't know. It was just a mess. It was a mess.
Pete, over here. In terms of the morale of the players, we know that Max is the emotional leader. Was he able to be here tonight to help with the?
No, he'll be in the morning. He'll be with us in the morning.
Okay.
Pete, nobody saw this coming. This 2-14. Nobody did. So I'm curious. Where do you think this season went sideways?
We didn't win a game in preseason. We were fortunate to tie Seattle, I think, in the preseason. We just haven't found our wins. We haven't found our way to win. We saw a tremendous game right off the bat, in New England. Obviously, look at their team now. They've had a fantastic season. And that was a pretty solid win for us, And Brock got hurt in that game in the fourth quarter. And I don't think we adapted well with that, and so we went through a few weeks of floundering, and I don't even know how long it took us to get to the Titans game to get the next win, but it seemed like forever. But yeah, I had no place in my mind to see this either, and so we just trying to figure out how to go 1 week at a time, come on back and find the focus to work really hard and give it a really good shot to see if we can play good football, and that's what we're going to try to do again, and. I don't doubt these guys one bit. And if you're asking the question, a little bit, did it go south or something? I don't think that. I think that's what we look like without those guys playing, and unfortunately, they're that valuable to us. And so everybody tried, everybody did everything they could, and all that, but just wasn't enough.
Pete, despite how the season has gone, do you feel like you still have support from ownership that in your belief?
Yeah, I do. From all the guys I've talked to, I do feel I have their support. What that means, I don't know. But our conversations have been really good.
I just follow up with any update on Geno Smith and the ankle, as well as Adam Butler's bicep.
Yeah, Geno has a high ankle sprain, and he'll get checked out in the morning with MRIs and all that. I don't know what that means, but that's pretty hard to bounce back, So he that might knock him out next week. We'll have to wait and see. Adam has a bicep strain of some sort, and again, we won't know for a while. But he didn't come back.
Saw that Dylan Parham also was sidelined. What was the situation
Illness.
there?
He couldn't make it out of pregame. He was sick and couldn't go.
You mentioned Michael Mayer, and it's been a little while for him to get that kind of action, those kind of touches, but that's what he's capable of doing. Why do you think it's taken this long for him to kind of be featured?
I think it's
no doubt.
Bowers, really. I mean, he filled in admirably, for one of the best players in our league, in Brock, and he did a great job today. But, you can't throw 20 balls to the tight ends in the course of a game. It's gonna get split up, and it's gonna go all over the place. But Mike had the chance to be featured today, and he totally came through. He was physical. He was creative. Made all the catches. I just thought that was a beautiful game from Mike.
Pete, to your left. This defensive unit has had problems stopping the run kind of all season long. Understanding that Max wasn't going to be on the field for you guys, what things were kind of put into practice this week, understanding the void that he was going to leave out there?
Yeah, we knew that it would be different, because he has, he's leading the league in tackles for losses or whatever. He's way up there, and not to mention the sacks production that he brings us. So we knew that there's going to be a bit of a void there. So we tried to do some things that come off the edge and adjust and hit some things that we would, try to create some problems. And we hit a couple, and a couple we didn't, So we did try to adapt with some thoughts and some calls and concepts. But there's not too much you can do to. How do you recreate that player? You know, I mean, he's an incredible football player, and you know, let me say this too: that Max was freaking heartbroken that he couldn't play. He's heartbroken that he couldn't play, and it means so much to him. He was having a great season. He's been hobbling around for months to get to the games, and it just got too far, and that's why he couldn't play. And he would never have taken himself out. I wouldn't have taken myself out. I get it. I totally understand it, but we just needed to protect him. You know, and it was obvious that we needed to from one end of it. But I don't blame Max for being upset one bit. He's too much of a warrior to accept that, you know, and so. It kind of breaks my heart that he didn't have a chance to finish this season with these last couple of games because he was having a hell of a year, and it doesn't take anything away from it. He just couldn't finish, but he would have if we would put him out there. He'd have gone no matter what, and that was that the right thing? The decision was no.
And then Pete, just one more really quick. We saw it in the home game against Denver, and then obviously we saw it tonight. It seems like every time this group is almost like one play away from that breakthrough, the breakdown kind of happens on the special teams unit. Just kind of, is that exactly what happened tonight in terms of what happened
It's
against Denver?
unbelievable timing. We go down, we get our touchdowns 20-10, and we didn't have a flash of a moment to benefit from that. And the next thing, it's 95, and away they go. It has happened throughout the year where we've given up monster plays in games. Those are crushing. I can't remember. You guys do your homework on that. I can't remember returns like that in my history of coaching in Seattle, at least in college. I don't remember it happening like that. But it just seems like it pops up every once in a while. We've had games we've done really well. We've had real consistent games, and he didn't get touched on that play. I mean, you watch Tommy Eichenberg the last couple weeks. He's been killing guys on kickoff coverage, and I don't know what happened to Tom on that one. But we've had some great coverage, but that one was just couldn't have been more untimely, and it just takes wind out of your sails, obviously.
Go ahead.
Pete, just going back to what you mentioned about your conversations with ownership, I was wondering, based on those conversations, just what are your confidence levels that you will be back here next season?
I have no comment to make about that at all. We're getting along great. We're communicating really well. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.